It was now a fine afternoon, with violet rounded clouds rubbing each other up in stereoscopic dimension. Edwardian facades wheeled in a lazy regatta of windows. On a nearby cornerstone, an ape was playing an air guitar in his armpit, waiting for tourists to buy a photo with him. And all the wee wifeys of Charing Cross Road had put out their wind-galloping clotheslines, pegged with fresh white multiplex screens. Crisscrossing the street was a formation dance team of AIDS buddies, those new Valium housewives toting mop heads, and a Soho chorus line of windmill girls kicking their shapely legs and chanting, "Have you ever been on a burning ship, actually? Have you ever been unemployed, actually? Been in Gateshead, actually?" Yesterday's explosion had been bad, but it had sucked up a lot of iron sculptures, mangled works off the museum floors and flung them twisted across town to our street. They were lovely. And high on the rooftop of the Hippodrome were stealthy movements of men in floral holiday shirts darting tiptoe with rifles. They'd been sniping at our kebab grill. The red-hot mesh was full of holes. Could they be the inland revenue? I give our Kasha a tips fiver. Away out, son, in the street and have your photo took with that wee monkey. Tell you the truth, I wanted to see would the gunmen pick him off. Our Kasha went nowhere, his dark lashes batting, tipped with finishing plaster. That monkey is drug addict. Mo ma'akol, gasped Hamdi. In photo he looks like small toy. She will look like propaganda. It was Tinker Quick, the Russian. Zeev was climbing down the ladder. Our caff sign now read the Liechtenstein. Here, between the manners of evasion and exile, he was setting up a haven the size of a cockroach, where you shout profit and never hear the echo tax. Sorted? Armpit wasn't in it. Zeev told the customer, "Not spit, lady, sweat. Our hummus is organic. It sweats like a pig. Don't want to pay? Take it free. Help us go under." The vice squad that I'd phoned the night before was pouring past eternally in their cars to see what I solicit from them. Seatbelts carefully fastened, like they were driving the narrow land bridge between the anus and the cunt. A repeating, prize-winning British drama. A jumped record of nostalgia and lechery. Musa spun the kebab on its pike like a double bass. Would you look at this smug old gob on him in a new shirt like an airline pilot's? He thought all this shiny traffic was here for to target his sons of Sheikh Zubair. When a watcher come and put up a sign saying, "Missing our beloved cat Barnabas," well, that had Fareed and Hamdi nudging each other with chicken elbows. Oh boys, yous are fairly killers now. It was a great surveillance aneurysm. First the special branchers. They were noticing that all the Watcher Sierras drove back round the block again and again. Then the tax fellas over the road were counting our customers on a clicker. Counterinsurgency were in the arcade, under deep cover servicing the machines. You heard the skidding screeches of wacky cartoon tragedies with "Hold Please" music playing Fur Elise, as these mechanics cranked up the aftermaths inside the speeding screens. Whack! "Two kebab for table 3. And come here, there's less options in them games than you'd think. Do you mean to tell me that for every possible crash, someone licked a pencil and done the sums? Do you not think they took a few shortcuts to get down the pub and swally? But never let on." It was at this point the boss surged up in his Lexus and got out of it. The dusk was pink, the sky lice pigeons with their rainbow chests were squawking. The boss had on a frilly Spanish shirt, a tux, and 2 dangling bow tie ends. Thought he was the better man, but he was only the best man. He got out of the car. We clenched our teeth. I could tell a lie, only Zeev did. The boss stood there, the picture of radio silence, staring at me, at my testy head. I wasn't windy he'd take me out. I was windy he might learn me something new about my soul. Moses showing you the deadly new writing on his tablets. Which day suits you? A watcher was asking her friend. Then he put one palm on the roof of his hippo limo and swung back into it. It bucked sulkily like a Norland pram. In his tinted window he sat, shades hooked into his frilly front. Either his car was still or moving too slow for the human eye. Aye, he was ransacking without moving. He was screening the crowds for a wife among the Swiss, Australians, Japanese crowding joyfully past him in the formaldehyde evening. He sprawled there, big shoulders on the seat top, flexing his automatic locks, and when any woman looked like a potential bride, psst, his tea-coloured windows sucked down and he hummed, "Maybe it's because I'm a Londoner." He bawled like hell as a hooker wearing Galliano made a worm farm of his windscreen with her silvery smearing tongue. When a PA called Siobhan rested her mini-skirted big bum against his window, there came the well-padded pounding of his fists. He was raining countermeasures, till she peeled her cheeks off his glass and went off muttering, "Sodding Macau Arabs." Olive-skinned girls walked right past him. "See? Zeev nudged me. They are Israeli. They know what he is. 100% fraud. Even I tell 100 lies, I am authentic. You mean his moor wasn't a 4x2? Why you bring up Brick Lane?" he squealed above his pizza wheel. "Why they never said, let's get the Jews for boring us? Our boss's name? Ilan. There is no more boring name in Israel than Ilan. You wouldn't be squealing if I wasn't right." His shirt was open. A flicker blew off his blue and white chest like marsh gas. "You know what he is? He is management. Adam and Eve took the first decision and he is the outcome. His grandpa was an Iraqi Jew from Basra. That kind do well. They go straight to Manchester. They don't touch his family. His mother, she was a refugee. She escaped with all her hate intact. She is a Scottish fundamentalist from Ahaha." "From Ahaha? You know nothing. Aoghill. Ignore the spelling." "How are you getting your visa?" "I plan my escape very carefully. Don't you worry about that. Luna House Croydon, Surrey, is the tail of the English lion, but I am the head of the fox. Very soon I will just walk out of here, into England. Tommy Cooper, it's mean, just like that. Get me more sayings from your country." "Do you know every night our boss comes here to get me at 4:15 a.m.? He comes for the Can I Drop You, the great motorcade of his hostage, me, through empty London. You know how he brings me to Golders Green? Via Brixton and Ealing, apropos Tooting vis-a-vis Gospel Oak. He's a fucking path theorist. He budgets his way around London on 3 ounces of petrol. And why me? Why not his loft complex on the archipelago of dogs? He has an empire, and he's obsessed with this shitty little cafe," he broke off to serve. "A pre-theatre special, madam? Nothing special in our country, madam, but better a failure in England than a success anywhere." His smoker's chest rattling like a Geiger counter. "You know what does our boss really want to talk about when he drives? Who do you slime with? Who?" Out in the hot night street, our boss had finally stopped looking for a wife. He was watching us, full time now, cheeky-like we were a bridgehead, an artillery bot, like we were a ruddy node. "Who do you slime with?" My one hand met the other hand deep in the sink. Through some arrested, tepid bathwater of Kensington 1949, the frugal scum water left in by an Englishman for his wife to bathe in. My 2 covered hands, seeking the heat of 2 bodies. "You're a virgin, you know nothing." He means, who do I screw? There I stood, my hands secretly holding each other under water. First he tries to open me up on the subject. "You know my poison, Zeevy? I love to get the ugly ones. Then I burn all the paper bags in my flat, and boy, do I fuck them bareheaded. I say, I'd like to trade confidence, but now I'm too depressed to talk. Will you change your sex for business purposes? I could fuck you on a pile of leaves if I felt like it. Imagine. You can't, you're too naive. I make him talk me by the tube. He goes, aren't you going to ask me up for cappuccino? Because he makes this whole tour to find out where I live. My homeland for one, just to turn that fact over and over in his hands. Who he screw. My hands worked in the glove box of the sink, swam in inert organ. Can you not just open the legs of your mind to him? What got a one value system? Don't sleep with our ends too high. Love, it's a notice to quit, you know. No, I experience a good life. I take a part-time course at London University. The teacher has silver hair, just the kind of dignity I like. When I get home from work, I stay up, self-catering. I got a very, very good taste in whiskey. There's always a video waiting up for me to watch into the dawn. I inquired, by the way, you jumped up Highland Prince of Paranoia. Do you know your old dead school teachers with the halitosis that admired you are now souls hopping on the head of that pin between your legs? So when you wank a wanker wanking you because... I fondled the steel counter right by his hand. You are all the fantasy a soul could want. You are the fucking best. A wee bit of praise always makes her face go white. So when's the boss firing me then? Soon? Explain this so you can plan ahead like me. You're planning to save me. I see plans tearing past your face like rope from a coil at sea. By the way, my friend, where you will live when you go? Well, you know the way a feral cat staggering down the steady pavement trying to shake a great dome tumour off its head starts to vomit and the gagging sounds like high heels clicking behind you in the dark? I laughed like that. I'm not so interested, my friend. I never ask what I really want to know. A twig cracked. It was the sound of that floating face out there in the car. He just leaned forward attentively, watching my love for a chef with skinny, flapping shirt sleeves. How listlessly he sat there, a lifeless thing making life or death decisions. You know the way a man makes two fingers stiff like a protractor and measures your cunt like that's a dirty thing and not the pure dignity of data? And there he is, a big man, doing that. The neon day of evening came down upon our filled room, touched effulgent on table after table in a gorgeous fantasy of grim reality. All the evidence of us lay glowing before our boss in the open as his seat suspension ate his fidgets. His train of thought was hanging like one of them tiny bubbles on his eyeball, back and forward drifting in a lazy tennis game. Some dangerous new understanding. A knowledge that here, somewhere in full view, he'd find out our secret. Across the street was that arcade with 1,000 bright speeding screens. And the grisling ballad sung by each screen was a longing for that old melody, the actual highway, for the real pain that used to race up to meet your swerve, the vomit-ejecting agony of the real crash, the unimaginable heat of two bodies going up, whoomph! Aye, as I pulled out the sink plug with a pop, I realised there was still one living creature left in the game, one that couldn't shrink to bite size, that need to keep him on, sweating in his vest, to work the oil-furred bumper cars and stroke the young pink palms of girls while taking their tickets. No matter how new and shining your CGI is, there'll always be one dirty old man at the fairground. Whack! 3 kebab, table 6, said Steve. He's coming in.